Next, the year Tom and Nicole split up on What a Year. Then a crime of passion on Cold Case. And later, real-life forensics on Body of Evidence. Thanks for watching Channel 9.
Just one bite.
This program proudly brought to you by You Love Coles. You Love Coles. Love the quality, love the price.
The following program is classified PG. The Nine Network recommends parental guidance for young viewers. It contains nudity.
Hi and welcome to What a Year, the show where we venture back in time to remember some of the biggest years in history.
We'll revisit the year's biggest movies, the hit singles, the television shows we loved, plus the people and stories that mattered.
Tonight, we return to a year when we said farewell to the greatest cricketer of them all.
Reality television makes its mark on Australia.
And the chase for Christopher Skace finally ends.
Yes, we're going back to the dawn of the new millennium, the year 2001.
Celebrities are rarely out of the spotlight. And for celebrity couples, the glare of the spotlight is twice as bright.
Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise had steered their Hollywood marriage through nearly a decade of public scrutiny, but in February, they announced their separation.
It was a marriage made in Hollywood heaven. Tinseltown's Top Gun and our very own star on the rise.
I love being married. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life.
Despite all the gossip, Tom and Nicole were in love when I did stories with them. I've seen them on a dance floor, a disco floor in Paris after we were doing a special with Tom Cruise, and this was a couple who couldn't keep their hands off each other.
It's the happiest I've ever been.
From their first meeting on the set of Days of Thunder, they were inseparable. We embraced Tom as our favourite son-in-law.
I think Tom's quote was, "We're going to be on our honeymoon for the rest of our lives," so I think it is going to be a fairy tale.
But then, 10 years later, the fairy tale was well and truly over.
I was shocked when I heard about Tom and Nicole splitting up because, of course, they just celebrated their 10-year anniversary. And suddenly, bingo, it was all over. I was sad because, you know, these two wonderfully successful people, the top of their game, all the money in the world, and, you know, gee, you think if they can't be happy, what hope have the rest of us got?
The divorce, whilst a very tragic event for Nicole, humanised her. She wasn't the lucky ice princess. She was suddenly very real, and I think she's maintained that position ever since.
Describe the year? Rocky.
I'd love to know the real reason behind Tom and Nicole's divorce. I mean, you know, you just sort of think, God, that's a good story. What went wrong? And she clearly was so in love with him.
Later in the year, Tom Cruise would appear in the movie Vanilla Sky. Meanwhile, Nicole Kidman starred in Baz Luhrmann's new musical, Moulin Rouge.
2001 belonged to Baz Luhrmann because he became that year an international filmmaker because he's got such an original mind and because he thinks so big. And Moulin Rouge is a really big film which in many ways reinvented the musical. It takes huge risks. I suppose one of the risks was letting Nicole Kidman sing.
The French are glad to die for love.
Nicole doing Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend was terrific fun. And of course, in some respects, it was reminiscent of Marilyn Monroe, but it was a whole new take on that.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
What Baz did with Moulin Rouge, using existing published songs as the score, was terrific. And the elegance of the film, it's old-time Hollywood. Not only the fantastic costumes, the fantastic sets, and the music and everything else, but it was the sheer numbers of dancers, the sheer movement of extras in the Moulin Rouge.
At the 2001 Australian Film Institute Awards, Lantana won a record 7 gongs, including Best Film, Best Actor, Anthony LaPaglia. and Best Actress, Kerry Armstrong. At the Academy Awards, Denzel Washington won Best Actor for his role in Training Day, while Halle Berry became the first black woman to win an Oscar in a lead role when she won for Monsters Ball. And later, we'll reveal the year's top 5 movies. But first, trainer Sheila Laxon and the mighty mare Ethereal were an irresistible team during Melbourne's 2001 Spring Racing Carnival. After an horrific racetrack fall, Sheila Laxon had to learn how to walk and talk all over again. A decade later, she was right back on top.
Year 2001 was absolutely incredible for me. You know, to have a horse like Ethereal go and win the Caulfield Melbourne Cup was just something I would never even dreamed of happening. And it all came to fruition and it completely changed my life.
Ethereal, Celestial Show and Sky Heights, 3 of them fighting out the race. Ethereal, Celestial Show, Sky Heights, they hit the line. Ethereal won it by a short half into Sky Heights and Celestial Show in a photo.
And on the morning of the Melbourne Cup, I took her out for a ride and I just thought, crikey, she is as well as I could ever get her. If she's got any chance of winning, I couldn't have had her more fit on the day.
Here comes Ethereal down the outside, followed by Karazi, and then May the Horse Be With You. Give the slip well clear at the 200-metre mark, though. Down the outside is Ethereal starting to close. Give the slip with Ethereal coming home. Give the slip in front. Ethereal's coming hard. The Caulfield Cup winners grab the lead, and Ethereal does the double.
And on the way home, we stopped at a pub just to get a few refreshments for the rest of the crew. And John went into the pub to get some drinks. They said, "Oh, did you see who won the Melbourne Cup?" She said, "Oh, yeah, she's out there." And they couldn't believe it. The whole pub came out and they were taking photographs of her, and then we had the Melbourne Cup in the window. Ethereal, she was heaven sent to me. I'm sure that, you know, there was everything about her was destiny. And she, every time I go back to New Zealand, I go and see her, and I'm sure she recognises me, and she's the most incredible horse I've ever had anything to do with.
In other sporting results from 2001, the Australian cricket team won its 7th straight Ashes series with a crushing 4-1 win over England.
Brisbane beat reigning premiers Essendon to win its first AFL premiership.
90,000 fans saw Newcastle edge out Parramatta 30-24 in the NRL Grand Final.
At the World Swimming Championships in Japan, Ian Thorpe won a staggering 6 gold medals and broke 3 world records.
Almost 3 decades after the famous Thriller in Manila, the daughters of Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier squared off in the boxing ring. Layla Ali won on points.
And the Socceroos set a new world record when they smashed American Samoa 31-0 in a World Cup qualifier. Archie Thompson netted 13 goals.
In life, there are exhilarating highs. There are also devastating lows, triumphs,
absolute perfection,
and tragedies. All new 20 to 1, Tuesday, 7:30 on 9.
As we saw earlier, Nicole and Tom parted ways in 2001.
There was also German tennis ace Boris Becker. He divorced his wife after 8 years of marriage.
Harrison Ford's wife, writer-producer Melissa Matheson, filed for legal separation, making it 2 marriage breakdowns for Ford.
Jane Fonda split from her 3rd husband, media mogul Ted Turner.
Hollywood glamour couple Kim Basinger and Alec Baldwin had a very public, very messy separation after Basinger filed for divorce.
While comedian Tom Green married Drew Barrymore in July and filed for divorce in December.
Ordinary people in extraordinary situations, with television cameras primed to capture their every move. In 2001, it was a new kind of entertainment, the dawn of reality TV.
Reality TV hit big in 2001. We had Big Brother, we had Survivor, the Australian Outback, and Chains of Love.
I think reality shows have their place in the world. It exists, it's on television, you can't deny it. Even if you don't like it, you probably still watch it. And everyone knows about it and everyone talks about it.
If he chooses for me to stay on, I think it'll be more of a conquest to the fact that he likes my personality rather than my physicality.
The production values on the Australian Survivor were terrific, but largely done to a textbook. They made everything look dramatic. The lighting at the Tribal Council made you really feel that there was a great sense of tension.
One will outlast all the rest and become the sole survivor.
The great thing about the original Big Brother was we were all thrown in there, had no idea about the show, had no idea about what the cameras could see, had no idea about the camera angles, how well people could hear us.
What happened in that year with this show was it really took television to that next area of mass, of spreading itself to everyone.
The bum dance and the bunny ears, I never understood why Australians fell in love with Sarah Marie.
I'm gonna go again, you ready? The bum dance was something that not even my closest friends knew about out of the house, Big Brother house. It was something that myself and my 3 sisters used to do when we'd get together. I used to see if I could get my bottom going around in a circle because my bottom was big and wobbly, so we'd do this. And then one of my sisters come up and started whacking my bottom as a joke one day, and we'd go, oh yeah, let's do the bum dance.
I had to sleep next to her. I had to put up with her. She was, I'm going to get roasted for saying this. I know I love her to death, but God, she was painful to live with.
Sarah Marie was the girl I'd never lived with and I'd never want to live with again. No, she was ace. She was so good.
But I'd say that Ben and Blair and Peter were very close to me.
The negative aspect is you just don't get taught how to deal with it. It's a really a psychological, mind-bending experience. And if you don't have a good support network around you, you can really hit the highest of highs and hit the lowest of lows within a very short time.
Reality TV almost became like, watching through the keyhole. We were able to invade other people's lives. Suddenly we could almost live vicariously through other people.
The life of disgraced Australian businessman Christopher Skace was always played out before a flurry of TV cameras. But the chase for the man and the millions he owed finally finished in Mallorca in August.
I remember once saying I had 600,000 reasons to hate Christopher Skace because that's how much it cost me. I lost 600 grand on the Quintex.
It was these pictures shot last month that helped convince a cynical public that Christopher Skace was indeed gravely ill, not from his much publicised lung problems, but stomach cancer. According to his family, he died around 6 a.m. Australian time today.
Well, I guess you can say that Chase started back in 1991 when I was appointed his trustee in bankruptcy. He died in 2001. Subsequently, from that, for about another 18 months, we conducted investigations with various family members that came back to Australia. So I guess overall it was about 12 years.
Mr. Skace. Mr. Skace, I've got Mr. Skace.
He lied to us. We asked the questions and he lied. He kept saying, I'll clear my name. I'll come back once my health improves. I can't fly. And I said, I put my hand in my pocket, I remember, and I think I put it on my Amex card. And he said, I'll buy you a ticket on a ship. You can come in by sea. And he had no answer to that.
Well, Chris, if this is bankruptcy, I have to say, where do you get it?
Well, you can get it in Spain if you've got a supportive family.
Is that right? They're paying for all of this?
Yes, they are.
Gee, you're a very lucky man.
They not only paid for, but also protected him.
You want to spend the rest of the weekend washing Coca-Cola out of your camera, stick around.
And were never more protective than when the media gave chase.
Very early on, I had his mobile number and I rang him and it was like speaking to Manuel out of Faulty Towers. It was k, and then a bit of Spanish and he hung up. So he certainly didn't want to communicate with me or virtually anyone from Australia who represented any sort of authority.
Remember once I said, how are you going with the banks? I mean, what's going to happen here? Naively, not knowing how you do these things. And he said, they're coming after me, but as you watch. And he jumped up. We're standing in the boardroom. He jumped up and he, like this against the wall, and he went, I'll just slide out the door. And that's what he did. He just slid out the door. But with it slid his reputation totally, and it was shredded.
Later in the show, we'll reveal the biggest stories that shaped the year.
But still to come, Aussie young gun Leighton Hewitt wins the US Open, and the humble mullet haircut finally receives the recognition it deserves.
Bedding Plants Australia named the moon-face pansy as their flower of the year. The name was inspired, of course, by the great Bert Newton.
Apple released the first-generation iPod, which could store up to 1,000 songs on its 5-gigabyte hard drive.
Multi-millionaire Dennis Tito paid $20 million to become the world's first space tourist, spending more than 7 days aboard the International Space Station.
15-year-old Sherpa Temba Cherry became the youngest person to conquer Mount Everest.
While 64-year-old American Sherman Bull became the oldest.
Tonight,
Prison Break, that's hot.
he ran for one thing
Fell into a burning ring of fire.
that wed.
Life's simpler with high-speed Optus broadband.
Yeah!
If you haven't tried Devondale Long Life milk lately, this is a special invitation to try it. It tastes like real milk because it is real milk, sealed in a special Stay Fresh pack. Devondale Long Life milk.
Now, this is a fantastic offer. If you want to get into your first home faster but don't have a deposit, check out Rams for 100% of the purchase price. So why wait, as they say. Call 13 Rams now for more details. That's 137267.
This doesn't make sense. If only everything was as easy as this capsicum chili Philly. One step and you've got light Philadelphia covered in capsicum chili sauce.
Capsicum Chili Philly.
Yum.
A little taste of heaven.
Nokia believes watching mobile TV, accessing email, and downloading music should be second nature, because technology should never get in the way of, well, human stuff. Nokia 6288.
The Hyundai Hit the Freeway 2006 model clearance is on now with free registration, free stamp duty and free CTP on the award-winning Gets from $13,990. See your Hyundai dealer today for the Hit the Freeway 2006 model clearance.
Join Richard Wilkins and Beck Hewitt in her return to television for a night of unforgettable performances. Kate Sobrano, Guy Sebastian, High Five, The Young Divas and more. ABBA-mania premieres Sunday, 8:30 on 9.
Some of the local stories making headlines in 2001.
If I could say one thing to this man who did this, I would ask him to let the police know where he is.
British tourist Joanne Lees told of her terrifying outback ordeal after escaping from the gunman who shot dead her boyfriend, Peter Falconio.
Hey guys, we have a new low now, 49.35 in the Aussie.
The Australian dollar plunged below 50 US cents for the first time.
Fine, bro. Thanks to you, New Zealand. Sad day.
After a proud 66-year history, Ansett Airlines collapsed financially, leaving thousands of its employees without jobs.
Christmas Day bushfires devastated parts of New South Wales and the ACT.
My son and myself, we could feel the heat and my wife was screaming and we...
And in the largest deal in Australian corporate history, mining giant BHP announced a $57 billion merger with Billiton. On a cold, wet morning in October, more than 4,000 Melburnians shed their clothes to take part in a mass display of public nudity.
Or, as American photographer Spencer Tunick called it, art.
We're all going to nude school. Ow!
Being a part of the Spencer Tunick photo shoot was, it was cold, but it was also exciting and humbling, and it was a community experience. It was being part of something unique and special.
Take off your bracelets, take off your watches, put them in your pockets.
All the small things, true care, truth brings. I'll take one lift, you're right, best trip. Always, I know you'll be at my show, watching, waiting, commiserating.
Party with a difference this way.
Ever have that dream
I see the body as change, as freedom, as a free spirit that floats into different areas and makes abstract shapes.
We did see one guy try and chat a lady up, which was hilarious, because that went down like a lead balloon.
Yeah, I gave him, points for trying. An English tourist was, introducing himself to the ladies, and he tried. He put a good effort in.
I think he just picked the wrong environment, you know. That was amazing. It's so liberating being nude in the middle of the city. It's awesome.
It's a chilly 8 degrees and it's been drizzling on and off. I could think of nothing worse than stripping for art's sake. But clearly, I'm in the vast minority here. This bug, to bear all, is very infectious.
Glad I got sunshine.
Am I not pretty enough?
Not many singles sell 4 million copies around the world. That's huge. Just such a catchy song. It had so many elements, the chanting, the na na na.
It wasn't just a #1, it was such a #1, and the crowd loved it. It was a sing-along song, and you can't get it out of your head.
Robbie Williams and Nicole Kidman have done what? It was 2001, of course. Something Stupid was the song. Such an unlikely choice.
I know I stand in line until you think you have the time to spend an evening with me.
She did such a lovely job of it. She sang beautifully, and it was a very happy time for all of them.
And then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like I love you.
In news just in, television personality and former rock musician Shirley Strawn has been killed in a helicopter accident.
When I heard about Shirley's death, I remember that I was absolutely devastated.
You kind of know that in those last few seconds of realisation, Shirley would have been believing that he could still get it going again. He was a very positive person, so he would have disbelieved in his own death right till the end.
I remember the words of a little bit of Bob the Builder because it's so simple. The song goes, Bob the Builder, Bob the Builder. We weren't surprised about getting #1 because we worked so hard at it. We outsold everyone that year as well. It was the highest selling single in the UK.
Bob and the gang have so much fun.
It was kind of well-constructed, catchy, easy to sing. It was a natural pop song. And when we zhuzhed it up with a hip-hop producer and made it into what it was, people either loved it or hated it, actually, yeah. It's been a difficult day today. I've had my head up Mrs. Potts' plumbing all day and a boiler nearly went off. But fortunately, I got my spanner in the right place at the right time and kept the steam down.
We better get some work done.
You're watching What a Year. More to come after the break.
This news update brought to you by Australian Super, an industry super fund making a lifetime of difference.
Hello again. A scare for Melbourne Cup favourite Torquay, injuring a hoof this afternoon, but trainer David Hayes claims it's not serious. Police ordered to deliver evidence in the Diane Brimble inquest. Parliament begins debating controversial stem cell laws. And Willie Mason suspended for one match for striking, but is clear to play the Tri-Nations final. Showers and 20 degrees tomorrow. I'll have the details of all those stories in Nightline.
How beautiful this world has become. Now everyone will see what I believe, that these words should be so.
Speak with Stockland about our amazing 3-year interest guarantee and take the heat out of interest rate rises. Visit our website to see the full range of Stockland communities and find out why there's never been a better time to buy.
Ooh. You and your friends will flip over mango chili Philly. It looks heavenly and tastes amazing. Mango chili Philly, a little taste of heaven.
Introducing Polydent Fresh Cleanse. It's a foam denture cleanser that cleans and keeps freshening for hours. It's fresh, foam, fabulous. Polydent micro cleans, kills odour-causing bacteria and freshens breath for up to 5 hours. New Polydent Fresh Cleanse.
Who's going to excite me? Challenge me? Inspire me? There are a million questions when choosing a look for your home, and just one answer.
It's true what they say. You can't plan for everything. The day hadn't started so well. Little did I know how it would end.
You may kiss the bride.
You see what happens when someone acts fast with Telfast?
The safety of all-wheel drive, ABS brakes and 4 airbags. The luxury of climate-controlled air conditioning. The 2-litre Subaru Impreza. Accelerated technology. Created from just $23,990. Plus dealer delivery and statutory charges.
If you're still changing tapes or DVDs with your camcorder, you'll be used to interruptions. But with an Averio hard disk camcorder, you get up to 30 gigabytes of recording, so you can just keep going.
If it's not a hard disk camcorder, it's all too hard.
No wonder Averio is everyone's next camcorder.
Speak with Stockland about our amazing 3-year interest guarantee and take the heat out of interest rate rises. Visit our website to see the full range of Stockland communities and find out why there's never been a better time to buy.
Tuesday, a triple homicide.
Shooter fires here, boom, and then move to hit someone who's running for their life, boom.
And one angry detective.
Guess I'll just have to charge you with murder.
All new The Closer, Tuesday, 9:35 on 9.
In 2001, an Australian legend, the crocodile hunter Steve Irwin, finally got his own show.
Yeah, I don't think I'm any different on the tally all right here. Crikey!
The year in television introduced us to a number of exciting new shows that were instant hits with viewers. There was the comedy drama The Secret Life of Us, and we also met McLeod's daughters for the first time.
I just remember being absolutely terrified because I came from the city, Sydney, and I had no idea what I was doing. I'd never even been on a farm before. I'd never even seen a horse in real life. Hello.
It's coming!
One of my favourite scenes out of the first series didn't involve me, but it was when Claire, Lisa Chappell, had to put her horse down. And it was beautiful, the music they used, and this one shot of the 2 girls riding slowly down the hill on the horse, all slumped over with the rifle in a hand, and the sad music that they played. I got quite emotional when I saw that.
The Secret Life of Us contained a certain amount of glamour. We weren't totally real. There was an element of magic realism to it. But at the same time, we were aware of that, and we took the mickey out of it, even in the first episode in a scene between myself and Claudia Carvin, who played Alex.
Oh, I didn't like that all the guys were kind of scruffy and messy and charismatic, and all the girls were gorgeous with great bodies. It just seemed like male fantasy bullshit to me.
Well, that's what the world's like.
Oh, crap.
Well, look at us. I'm scruffy and dirty, and you're gorgeous with a great body.
The show essentially tried to deal with the big issues as well, the real issues, the stuff we all go through. It was beautifully shot, and I basically think that we couldn't have nailed it without really great writing.
Who wild cruise? Who wild schmooze? Who wild booze? Logies, 43.
At the 2001 TV Week Logie Awards, there was a standing ovation for the first woman inducted into the Hall of Fame, Ruth Cracknell. But the highlight of the night was Bert Newton's triumphant comeback to the awards he'd made his own.
It surprised me that anyone basically remembered me coming into the Crown foyer. There were 500 people there shouting and screaming and throwing things. I said to Ricky Martin, who was walking in with me,
"We have entered the third millennium through a gate of fire." Those words belong to UN Secretary-General Kofi Annan. And the gate of fire he was talking about was the deadly terror strike launched on the United States on September 11th.
Boom!
Just like everybody else at the time, early on, I did think it was an accident. A plane had hit one of the World Trade Towers. And being in New York, of course, TV coverage was instantaneous.
I flicked the telly on. I'm looking at the images of this thing, and just, as I'm sure many people did, jump to the conclusion that just what we need, another blockbuster action thing. But goodness, aren't they doing incredible things with computer graphics now?
Oh my God. But then when that second plane hit while all of America was watching, there was no doubting Americans knew that they were under attack, but by who?
I rang my brother, and he was already watching it, and then I sat on the phone to him for a while because I needed to hear another voice.
To see them come down on that night when they just tumbled with a couple of large planes going, they just fell like the proverbial pack of cards, was unreal. It was something that you'd see in a Spielberg movie.
What came down? What came down? We crashed. The other trade center's down. It's down.
I was watching it on television. I thought, how can my favourite machine, an aircraft, be used for such destruction? And of course, the world changed that day.
That afraidness to fly again, I think. And the first couple of times that I was up personally in an aeroplane, it was pretty scary.
I think no one could believe what they'd seen, and we didn't really want to believe what we'd seen.
Peace on earth.
Still to come, Leighton Hewitt wins the US Open and the death of a cricket legend. In 2001, the average length of a marriage before it ended in divorce was 11.8 years. Today, we're sticking together a little longer. It's 12.2.
The number of text messages sent from mobile phones in Australia topped 2 billion in 2001. Today, it's an incredible 8 billion.
And as a nation, we're getting thirstier. In 2001, we drank 300 million litres of bottled water. Today, that volume has almost doubled to 550 million.
He told me he was going to leave Fiona. For me.
Is this the moment? What she told you? For love lost.
Oh, I'm not stupid, Alex.
McLeod's Daughters, Wednesday 7:30 on 9.
Yes, we'd like to use our points. Christmas? Yes, this Christmas. Christmas is blacked out. Okay, well, when can we go? When? Well, how does everyone feel about going to Nana's?
We know how you feel.
That's why the Commonwealth Bank has introduced Travel Plus, awards that let you travel where you want, when you want.
The New South Wales Government is undertaking one of the biggest ever upgrades to our railway system, untangling lines to ensure one disruption doesn't cause delays on the entire system, new trains to provide more comfortable and reliable services, improved timetables already starting to work. Now's the time to jump back on a train. There's a lot more to do, and we thank you for your patience. Authorised by the New South Wales Government, Sydney.
For muscle and back pain, try new Voltaren Rapid 12.5 tablets. Painful inflamed areas attract Voltaren, which concentrates its action where you need it most to help get you moving again. Voltaren, the joy of movement.
What's new? If you appreciate fine foods, here's some great news from Dairy Farmers. A new range of Dairy Farmers 100% natural gourmet yoghurt. A luscious layer of real crushed fruit topped with ultra creamy yoghurt. And for the perfect snack, try Dairy Farmers' new Royale selection. My favourite's wicked chocolate pudding. 2 new tempting tastes from Dairy Farmers' Royale selection and gourmet yoghurt. What's new where you see it first?
It's not hard to recognise our place. Creek out the back. Vines out the front. Jacobs Creek. Welcome to our place.
Introducing the new Mitsubishi Colt Cabriolet. The ultimate in European design and sophistication. Part of the stylish Mitsubishi Colt range. Take one for a spin today.
It's true what they say. You can't plan for everything.
You may kiss the bride.
See what happens when someone acts fast with Telfast?
Apply for a Commonwealth Awards credit card right now and we'll give you 15,000 Travel Plus awards points to help you take off even sooner. Thought you'd never see the day?
2001 was a big year for fashion, from the Logies and their fabulous frocks to the AFL's Brownlow shock. Collingwood captain Nathan Buckley looked on. As girlfriend Tanya proved, diamonds aren't always a girl's best friend.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Tanya Buckley, what can I say? Where we've got these low-rider jeans with a G-string hanging out, Tanya Buckley goes, cool, I'm turning up to the Brownlows with a diamond-encrusted G-string hanging out the back of my dress. And I think that was a big uproar at the time. So if it was ugly on the jeans, you imagine what they're going to think on the dress. She just thought it was damn cool. Sorry, Tanya. I don't think we were digging it then.
And model Christy Hins caused a commotion at Sydney's Fashion Week in a Tiger Lily diamond bikini worth more than $5 million. Fashion Week in 2001 was closer to Animal Week. Christy Hins and her python might have raised eyebrows, but that was nothing compared to the sight of 200 rats scrambling over the catwalk. The stunt was designed to promote Subi jeans and was the brainchild of our guest tonight. Welcome George, Goro and Dan Single. Now, you guys stirred up a fair bit of controversy at 2001 at Fashion Week. How did you come up with the idea for rats on the catwalk?
Generally, most of our ideas, they come around 4 o'clock in the morning in the dark corner of some bar. And that one did, and Dan just asked me, he said, oh, we should probably think about that parade. What model do you want to think should come out first? And I said, I don't know. If I had my choice, I'd probably have a rat come out first, and then followed by a plague of rats, and he went, all right.
You had roughly 200 rats. Just out of curiosity, how does someone round up 200 rats for a catwalk appearance? I mean, do you do like a casting or...?
No, my little brother actually found the rats.
Oh, okay.
Originally, we gave the job to like 2 other people beforehand, and they just packed it in after one phone call, said it was impossible.
So you had to call in your brother for his services.
He came in for 6 weeks. He found he had numerous places that had like 10 or 20 rats, but it was like a long time to get 200 rats. Ended up buying them off a snake breeder.
Oh my God.
They were due to be exterminated the day before he called, and we extended their lives by 3 weeks.
Well,
so
see, there you go. You gave a hand to the rats as well. Yeah. Well, you definitely made a name for yourselves after that. And considering no one had seen anything quite like that on the catwalk before, what effect did it have afterwards on your image and your business?
After that, it was like trying to hang on to a rocket. Like, everything just went crazy. The demand was out of control. We sort of got global recognition. It was like New York Times, London Times. We'd be going around places up for like a couple of years, and people would say, hey, you guys, the guys with the rats and everything. And our biggest prank ended up making us sit down and be really serious about, you know, what we had to do.
And you came up with some pretty interesting methods when you were designing your jeans too, yeah?
Yeah, well, Sibby was born from kind of taking the piss a little bit, and some of the techniques we kind of did that as well. I mean, some of the dyeing techniques, Dan actually came up with a beauty one time.
Did you?
It was like, we've got to dye these quickly, and Dan's like, sweet, give them here. And he lifted up the top of the toilet, grabbed a whole bunch of dye, put it in the top like that, and he goes, give me the jeans, and then stuffed them into the toilet and pressed the flush button.
We had our orders for the weekend. We had to get them done. We needed money.
Crazy. Congratulations, guys. It's good to hear an Aussie success story. Now to something that many people would agree is deeply unfashionable. I'm talking about the haircut known as the mullet. And in 2001, believe it or not, the word mullet entered the Oxford English Dictionary.
2001. Mullet finally makes it into the Oxford. Typical, isn't it? Poms floundering in our wake yet again. Australia setting the standard.
The king of the mullets, we all had the mullets from hell in those days. I think it was a contest to see who could actually get the longest mullet. John won, by the way.
I reckon if mullet's in the Oxford Dictionary, there should be a photo in there as well, probably one of either me or John Farnham in the 80s. We both had ripper mullets.
Coming up, we've got a song from the album that's top of the compact disc charts right around the world. It's A Hard Day's Night, the song I Should Have Known Better.
And there was a raging debate as to whether mine was a permed mullet, whether my mullet had been given extra help, as it were. For the record, it was all me. 100% natural curly mullet.
The best mullet, say no more. Wizard Kappa. The lean me excitement machine. Blonde hair, blue eyes, ready for takeoff. I think the mullet I had was probably the best. Because say no more, I was Fabio's godson, and I was the most beautiful footballer in the world.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall in a young 6-year-old kid's school room. And puts his hand up. Mr. Rottington Smythe, what is a mullet? Well, if we just open to page number whatever in the dictionary, we can see that a mullet is a hairstyle. I think it's fantastic. Should have happened sooner. Should have happened way sooner.
And now to news that rocked the nation. The Norwegian cargo ship Tampa sailed into a storm of controversy in August when it picked up more than 400 asylum seekers off Christmas Island.
I think we're very decent people, and I think that was an indecent act. I think to leave 400 people broiling out in the Indian Ocean sun was indecent.
On October 2nd, less than 2 months after the Tampa crisis and 1 month before the federal election, another rickety refugee boat captured our attention, with Immigration Minister Philip Ruddock reporting...
A number of people have jumped overboard and have had to be rescued. More disturbingly, a number of children have been thrown overboard.
So began what was to become known as the Children Overboard affair.
This is an election, remember. Australia's going to the polls, and
The question of refugees being admitted to Australia or being intercepted is a big election issue, so it helped the government.
Throwing their children overboard. I mean, I can't imagine how a genuine refugee would ever do that.
Within a matter of hours, it was clear to senior people in the Navy that no children had been thrown overboard, and yet we're asked to believe that weeks later, when Australia went to the polls, the government is still unaware of it.
I was still wanting to believe that the government simply wouldn't mislead us, you know, that Howard and Reith would really not basically try and pull the wool over our eyes.
I think history will be very unkind to governments because of the children overboard.
They didn't want to be told that this was untrue, so no one told them. But they knew, of course they knew.
After the break, we'll count down the top 5 best-selling songs of the year, and we'll also reveal the top 5 movies and the biggest events that shaped the year.
But right now, some of the stories that made world news in 2001.
American actress Winona Ryder was arrested for shoplifting thousands of dollars worth of designer clothes from a Beverly Hills department store.
George W. Bush was sworn into office as the 43rd President of the United States.
71-year-old Rupert Murdoch became a father for the 5th time when his 3rd wife, Wendy Dung, gave birth to a baby girl.
Millionaire author Jeffrey Archer was jailed for 4 years after being found guilty of perjury and trying to pervert the course of justice.
Tough day for Enron right now.
American energy giant Enron, once the nation's 7th biggest company, filed for bankruptcy.
Former Beatle George Harrison succumbed to cancer at only 58.
And Adelaide man David Hicks was captured and detained by US forces for supposedly fighting for the Taliban in Afghanistan.
On a current affair, teenage mums under attack. They're told they're too young, too immature, too irresponsible.
They're operating out of a basis of ignorance.
Now they're fighting back against moves to ban them from motherhood.
Maybe they should mind their own business.
Plus,
My day, Woman's Day. My day for family, my day for friends, my day for good times that never end.
Bechtel's My Big News, plus new family photos. Reese and Ryan divorce, the Aussie actress who tore them apart. Brad's joy, and pregnant again. Chappelle Corby's shock affair with Bali 9 ringleader, plus 10-page Idol special. It's all in this week's Woman's Day.
It's my #1 celebrity magazine.
Woman's Day.
The Hyundai Hit the Freeway 2006 model clearance is on now with free registration, free stamp duty and free CTP on the impressive Sonata and a wide range of Hyundais. See your Hyundai dealer today for the Hit the Freeway 2006 model clearance.
Next.
Prison break? That's hot.
On the run for love. But where did it get him?
This guy died twice.
Cold Case. Next on 9.
Just one bite.
This program proudly brought to you by You Love Coles. You love Coles. Love the quality, love the price.
Sir Donald Bradman dominated cricket to such an extent that he's lauded as the game's greatest player. In February, at 92, the Don's great innings came to an end. He was the boy from Bowral with an extraordinary talent who went on to captain his country and capture our hearts.
He was our king. He was our prince. He was our boy. He always smiled and he always won.
I wanted to play cricket because I loved it and because I enjoyed it, and not for a living. I think if I played cricket for a living, I would have lost the enjoyment of playing cricket.
He was one of my great heroes. And to get the last interview with him was one of those things I dreamed about.
You can't play crossbat shots with a heavy bat. The pinnacle of my ambition was to play for Australia, and that was it, with the green blazer. It's vastly more important to represent your country than it is to represent yourself.
To be the first winner of the Sir Donald Bradman Award, it meant so much. To me, he was that type of cricketer that it really showed his passion about playing for Australia. You know, you look at the great man and think Sir Donald Bradman, he's been in the same change room, he's been out there playing for Australia, and if I could take a small part of what he's achieved, then, you know, I'm being presented with his award, it was such a huge honour.
They turned out for his funeral at every age, but they turned out when he played cricket at every age as well.
If you ask anyone around the world about who has been the most influential cricketer or the best cricketer going around, 90% of people, I think, will say Sir Donald Bradman. What he achieved, I mean, 99.94 with a batting average. Pretty amazing person.
Two young sports stars who hope to write their own names into Australian sporting legend were Kari Webb and Leighton Hewitt.
That's it. He's won it.
Well, it was an amazing effort, actually, for Leighton to be #1 in the world at the age of 20. Winning the US Open was a surprise to everybody, you know, beating the almighty Pete Sampras as well along the way. Incredible effort. I mean, there's a kid who just had amazing ability, incredible hand-eye coordination, super quick.
Great shot.
It's his tenacity to be on the court and to give the impression to his opponent that you're not going to beat me, I'm going to wear you down.
He thrives on that negative energy being thrown at him. He uses it to get him pumped up.
Excellent serving.
Those qualities are qualities of, you know, champions.
And at just 26, Kari Webb putted her way into the record books, becoming the youngest woman ever to win a career Grand Slam. Early in her career, Greg Norman took on the role of mentor, inviting her to spend a week in the Sharks' shoes.
I made a stipulation to her. I said, Kari, you're going to do everything I do this week that you're here. You're going to get up early, you're going to go to my office, you're going to see what responsibilities it take. If you want to be the best player in the world, or be the best you can be, these are the things that come with it. She came here to learn how to become a better person, learn how to become a better golfer, to be able to take that to the next level, and look what she's done.
And in 2001, it is Kari Webb.
Well, now it's time to reveal our top fives.
And the year's best-selling singles, the blockbuster movies, and the stories on everyone's lips during 2001. The top 5 movies of the year were, at number 5, Renee Zellweger in Bridget Jones's Diary. Number 4, the romantic comedy What Women Want. Moulin Rouge was the 3rd biggest film of the year. In 2nd place, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. And the biggest film of 2001 was an animated comedy about a grumpy green ogre. The film, of course, was Shrek.
To music, and the top 5 selling singles of 2001 were, at number 5, Hanging by a Moment by Lifehouse. Number 4, Shaggy featuring Rayvon with the song Angel. In the number 3 slot, our own Kylie Minogue and Can't Get You Out of My Head. Shaggy pops up again at number 2 with It Wasn't Me. And the biggest song of 2001, Can't Fight the Moonlight, a triple platinum smash for American country singer Leanne Rimes.
Finally, the 5 biggest stories we were talking about in 2001 were, at number 5, the death of former businessman Christopher Skace. Number 4 was the Children Overboard affair, which changed the course of the next federal election. The death of Sir Donald Bradman, number 3. Number 2 was the financial collapse of Ansett Airlines. And the year's biggest story was undoubtedly September 11 terrorist attacks.
Well, that's almost it for our journey back to 2001. The year, like any other, had its fads and fashions, its stars on the rise and on the wane.
But history will remember 2001 as the year when a single date defined the world we now live in. There was before September 11 and after September 11.
In 2006, on the 5th anniversary of the terrorist attacks, 2 powerful shafts of light became part of the Manhattan skyline, right where the Twin Towers once stood.
American photographer Spencer Tunick continues his nude installations. 2 years after his Australian shoot, he completed his largest work to date when he photographed 7,000 naked Spaniards in Barcelona.
And the Big Brother juggernaut still shows no signs of slowing down. 15 countries around the world have produced their own version of the series, with Big Brother Nigeria the most recent incarnation.
And that's 2001. Thanks again for joining us on What a Year.
Good night.
Next week, the mystery of crop circles is finally revealed.
One of rock's most flamboyant performers passes away.
And Operation Desert Storm ignites the Persian Gulf.